One of the big downsides that I don't think people recognize with legacy automakers in particular is they're selling a lot of cars with internal combustion engines. And these internal combustion engines do not last like they used to. This is not a myth. This is actually supported by data. In the United States alone, there has been 4 million recalls this year for faulty engines. 4 million. It's not 400,000, 4 million. And there's a very good reason why these automakers like Ford and General Motors are putting themselves in a very difficult financial position. And this is going to leave them some huge costs in the future to deal with. I mean, obviously, Ford has had more recalls this year than any car company in the history of the automotive industry by a pretty wide margin. And it's not even the end of the year yet. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Why? Why the heck are these internal combustion engines having so many problems? Well, the automotive industry's decades-long push for cleaner, more fuel-efficient engines has created an unintended consequence, which I'm sure some of you know about. Today's advanced motors are, well, they're not very advanced to be honest, but today's motors are far less tolerant of manufacturing imperfections than older engines, right? The reason, well, okay, first of all, let's look at the data. More than 5 million engines from 5 automakers, guys, I was wrong, it's not 4 million, it's more than 5 million, from 5 automakers are currently under recall in the United States. A problem that is costing, well, going to cost billions of dollars and hurt brand reputation. The affected engines share some common problems, such as improper machining of connecting rods and crankshafts, and tiny metal particles called swarf left inside the engine. Older engines that relied on size to produce high horsepower and that ran on thicker motor oil could better tolerate very, very small machining, cleaning, and manufacturing errors. But today's smaller, more advanced, and highly stressed engines, designed for lower emissions, high fuel economy, and high horsepower per litre, can't. They can't handle even the smallest of imperfections. Automotive News asked engine engineers and other experts what's causing these failures. I mean, more than 5 million this year alone. The consensus, today's cleaner running engines that are delivering record amounts of power per litre and running at hotter temperatures are creating higher in-cylinder pressures. I don't know if you've seen Gone in 60 Seconds, or maybe a better example would be Fast and the Furious, and you see them pressing the go baby go button or the NOS button, yeah, turning on that NOS, sending some nitrous oxide into the engine, which obviously makes things run hotter and leaner. And then what happens? Well, often those engines blow up, right? So engines today are running hotter and leaner than they were before, particularly Toyota's hydrogen engines, which just melt down frequently. This places greater loads on critical parts, such as bearings and crankshafts, which are separated only by a film of oil thinner than a human hair. To reduce parasitic losses created by the engine's internal spinning parts, automakers have been specifying thinner and thinner oils. The higher stress on bearings, rods, crankshafts, and other parts combined with thinner oil means an engine's components have to be machined, cleaned, and assembled perfectly, say experts. And when they are not, engines can seize. You only need one tiny part in an engine. Think about it, right? In an engine, there's thousands, literally thousands of moving parts. I think one of them has to fail or just not be quite right. In the push to minimize exhaust emissions and improve fuel economy and increase power at the same time, automakers have had to aggressively downsize engines while trying to maintain the performance that drivers expect, said Greg Davis, a Kettering University professor who leads the Flint, Michigan School's Advanced Engine Research Lab. This has led to higher operating peak pressures and greater average engine loads. This both increases the bearing loads and engine wear. We routinely operate the engine at higher speeds to get more power, again increasing the wear. The engine also runs hotter on average, he said. Now, I'm curious what you guys think, but BYD currently has the fastest spinning electric motors in the world. They spin at nearly 30,000 RPM. I wonder if something like this could happen in the future with these super high, fast spinning electric motors. I don't know, but I guess we'll find out. Tom Howe, an engine segment lead at AVL, a Graz, Austria-based company that provides powertrain testing and engineering services to automakers, believes thinner oils, tighter tolerances, and harder bearing materials are contributing to the industry's engine problems. If you have thinner oils, you get thinner oil film, and the engine will be more susceptible to contamination, said Howe, who works in AVL's Detroit facility. There's also been some changes to bearing materials, which means they are more susceptible to contamination. In April, General Motors recalled 721,000 L87 6.2 litre V8 engines installed in 2021 to 2024 model year Chevrolet and GMC pickups and SUVs and the Cadillac Escalade. And interestingly, General Motors are spending nearly $1 billion developing new V8 engines this year, which I believe is an insane waste of money. More than 1,000 of those engines suffered catastrophic rod-bearing failures, some with just a few hundred miles being driven. On October the 27th, NHTSA announced that an additional 286,000 6.2 litre V8 engines built outside the recall window are going to be recalled for the same problem. The bill for inspections and replacements is unknown, but it is enormous. General Motors doesn't break out its costs for individual warranty repairs, but a spokesperson said that its total warranty accruals have increased by $1.3 billion versus 2024, and we haven't even hit the end of the year yet. It's probably going to be at least $2 billion more versus last year. General Motors is paying dealers to perform a 45-minute diagnostic test on the recalled engines, meaning some of them could go back to customers and fail in the future, because this is just a diagnostic test. About 3% or 18,000 engines General Motors believes will fail the test. Those engines will be replaced at a cost of $10,000 to $12,000 US each. Engines that pass the test will get new, thicker oil, a new oil filter, and other parts. GM is facing several class action lawsuits related to the engine's troubles. Other automakers dealing with open engine recalls and major problems include, yes, good old, really super reliable Toyota. Toyota is expecting a bill of $300 to $500 million US to replace 102,000 V35A V6 twin-turbo engines installed in Toyota pickups and SUVs and Lexus SUVs. Now, if you paid me $1 for all the times I've seen all these people, Americans and Australians, say Toyotas are the most incredibly reliable cars in the world, I'd be a billionaire. But I'm not. But I should get $1 for each of them because the people are making this stuff up. Toyota vehicles are no more reliable than any other internal combustion engine. On November the 6th, Toyota added 127,000 engines made in 2022 to 2024. These are engines that are a year old. The reason? Debris in the block could cause engines to seize. Toyota has not said if these engines will be replaced. But Toyota's bill will well exceed $1 billion. Hyundai, which is spending an estimated $5 billion to replace engines, settle lawsuits and pay fines related to more than 3.3 million potentially defective Theta 2 Gamma and new engines dating back more than a decade. Apparently it's extending engine warranties now to 15 years. It's being essentially forced to. But anyway, that's $5 billion on 3.3 million defective engines. Honda, they are dealing with 250,000 J35 V6s from the 2023 model year, 2 years old. They could have improperly machined crankshafts, causing bearings to wear out and connecting rods to seize. In August, NHTSA added 1.4 million engines to its investigation after receiving more than 400 complaints of catastrophic failures. So that means there'll be about 1.7 million Honda engines recalled. That's going to cost them billions of dollars. No one knows how much, but it will be billions. Ford have issued many engine recalls this year involving connecting rod failures, oil leaks, and faulty fuel injectors. Too many to list in this video, which could in fact, some of these issues apparently could cause fires. More than 700,000 vehicles have been recalled. The cost will be in the billions. Stellantis recalled 113,000 turbo four-cylinder engines in 2023 to 2025 model Jeeps. Sand in the engine block could cause the motor to seize. How can sand even get in the engine block? There have been 144 warranty claims, and apparently this is a problem facing thousands of their vehicles. Based on the automaker's repair costs, it's estimated to cost them about $500 million. Guys, we are talking well over $15 billion by the time it's done and dusted. If it ever is done and dusted, these problems could go on for a very long time. Though only a fraction of the recalled motors have experienced catastrophic failures, we have no idea how many of them will in the future. And this is going to lead to massive inconvenience for owners who have to take their cars back to dealerships for basically for who knows how long. Removing a blown engine under warranty is an expensive, labor-intensive procedure that ties up most service department service bays for at least 2 days per individual job. A General Motors 6.2-litre engine replacement, for example, is an 18-hour job. A Toyota V6 motor replacement takes 13 hours. That affects dealership profitability because it prevents technicians from working on more profitable customer pay repair jobs. More profitable is the key point there. Dead engines inconvenience customers as well and can obliterate brand loyalty. Hopefully it obliterates people's confidence in internal combustion vehicles, which, to be honest, I can't understand. Anyway, a Hyundai Kia engine failure Facebook page, for example, has 40,000 members posting about their vehicle's engines and the often convoluted procedure to get a replacement, says Automotive News. Unfortunately, Hyundai are known for their hardball tactics, and even with EVs, they often have quite a few issues that can take a long time to get fixed. General Motors customers have been angry over long wait times for replacement engines. From putting customers in loaner vehicles to running engine plants on overtime building replacement motors, engine failures erode automakers' profitability. Automakers, for legal reasons, are reluctant to publicly share technical details beyond those published by the government in recall documents, while the engine failures have forced them to change. General Motors CEO Mary Barra says the 6.2 litres engine quality issues, by the way, this is a 6.2 litre V8, it shouldn't be highly stressed, should it? Apparently, those issues will help the company avoid a repeat of the problems. Companies, though, have been saying this for years, haven't they? It's like a broken record. In its upcoming 6th generation small block V8, General Motors says it will have finally solved its reliability problems. That engine, an $854 million, US million dollar investment, is due to start production in 2027. General Motors blamed the 6.2 litre engine issues on suppliers that left metal shavings in cylinder blocks and delivered improperly machined crankshafts. But you aren't buying the car from suppliers, you're buying it from General Motors. And I don't think really that's a good excuse. We're working hand in hand with our suppliers to make sure they're leveraging and using the same type of process control that we use, sharing lessons learned, said Mary Barra. Will this ensure there aren't faults in the future? Of course not. We're talking about engines here. They're complex, extremely complex, in fact. Now, I don't know about you guys, but to me, there seems to be a pretty simple solution to all of this, and that is to go electric. Electric motors are very simple. They don't get contaminated. When have you heard about these recalls for electric motors happening? They never happen in EVs. And the funny thing is, electric motors, you might say to yourself, well, they don't have the same power. Actually, they do. You can get electric motors now with more than 700 horsepower in literally a 12 kilogram motor. About this size, 12 kilograms, 700 horsepower. 4 of those, what's that weigh? Yeah, that's like 48 kilograms, which is about 100 pounds. Yeah, a V8 engine from General Motors with less power than that weighs around 700 pounds. So, in my opinion, the clear and obvious choice here is for Americans, and not just Americans, but all of us, to go electric. It saves everyone money, improves air quality, and could solve all these very, very costly recall problems for these legacy automakers. What are your thoughts? Thanks for watching.